Everyone, happy Tuesday. Thank you for joining me here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 9:30 Eastern and 6:30 Pacific. And it's a time where we can relax and craft for about an hour. And I work on projects from beginning to end through the whole process. So you can be there along the way and work on the project with me and just come and chit chat. So thank you for joining me again. We are continuing on the Splendid Sampler 2. We have racked up a whole pile of quilt blocks for this, and I am sewing them together in groups of 4 with some sashing. That's like a little internal border. I'm basically doing this to clean up my area. I've racked up a few blocks. We did these 2 last night. And I'm sewing them together so I can get them out of the way, basically. And then we can sew some more blocks. It took a long time to get this many blocks finished so we could start sewing them together. After this step, after we get them sewn into 4, I'm going to be doing the quilt as you go process. And I have these 2 guys sewn together. So here you go. We are quilting them. We're pre-quilting them. We're quilting them as we go. So once we get the groups of 4, I am layering it with the batting and the back and then quilting them together. But right now we are just sewing them. We're just sewing them into the 4s. And some other time we'll work on the quilt as you go again. But if you wanted to see the process for this, I do have all the videos up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies. Tonight though, we got 8 more of these blocks to sew together. I'm hoping we can finish that up. Then I'll clean up my area, and tomorrow we will start the octopus applique block. I will show you guys that. It is in the Splendid Sampler 2 book, and it is this block right here on page 83. So we are going to start this applique piece tomorrow. So we will need a lightweight fusible web for that. So if you have one of those, then get that on hand. I'll be using the Steam-A-Seam 2 again. That's what we've used in the past. That's like, for example, that's what we use for the elephant here to fuse our fabric onto the background. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. Tonight, we're going to sew more of these guys. So I'm going to flip you around and we will get started. Thanks again for joining me. Okay. One of these days, so here's that machine. Here's my normal machine that I usually work. Oh, I didn't make the feet go up and down. I'll show you guys that now. So this is why I brought it in. Gosh, look at this mess. So the feed dogs here are feed dogs. Oh, they're down right now. So this, by clicking this button, that should keep the feed dogs down, but they have been getting stuck. All right, it looks like they're staying down, but this lever right here, we gotta watch that to make sure it doesn't start sticking again. So that's the trick. So now by having this up, the feed dogs should go up. Yep, see now I can feel them. Oh, you know what? I don't think they're staying down. So I have to get a screwdriver in here and hold this down for a little bit just to keep them down. So it really, I mean, they figured out what the problem was. It's just been getting kind of stuck. So anyway, I have to address that again. Maybe I'll work on that this weekend. And the guy said that it's one of these deals where I'm just gonna have to keep on it. All right, so here's our next bit, and it looks like we have one sewn together already. Okay, and then the top ones. All right, we've already pre-chosen what blocks go in here. We did it all random, so that was kind of fun. Wow, this is a whole lot of intricate blocks in this step. So again, we have that middle sashing piece, and then we have these two side ones. These are the 6.5 inches by 1 inches. We do need to press these and trim, though, it looks like. It doesn't look like we might have any excess on these. These are probably going to end up kind of smaller than they probably are supposed to be, but we're going to do our best to flatten them out, and if they need to be trimmed, we'll measure that. But I think we'll probably end up sewing them just as is. Versus the next 4 blocks, those will have some trimming to do. So I'm going to just get you guys, sorry there, get you guys over to the pressing mat a little bit. All right, let's give these a press. We went through this process last night, so I went in more detail there, but we do need to trim the ones that are larger, and specifically we need to trim here and here, like the inside parts of them, the parts that we'll be sewing the sashing on. I'm going to just press them all at once this time. It's kind of their final press, their final judgment before they're sewn together. But some of them we had left a little larger. All these pieced ones we probably didn't, but the ones that have a big white border around, like that elephant one that I was showing you earlier, those we left extra around the outside for the quilting process. So when we quilt it, it's going to pull on the fabric a lot, and that pulling is going to bunch up the fabric, which will, you know, therefore, since we're bunching fabric, it's going to pull fabric from the edges. So I want to leave as much excess as I can to make up for that, so we don't have to add extra sashing or something later. But I suspect on a few of these we may have to. Gosh, this one's got a lot going on. Let's squish that one as much as we can. Okay, so we have our 4. I do want to do a quick measurement of them before sewing them together. I'm trying to go a little quickly tonight just because I want to get this one and the other one finished. This I can already tell. We are probably a little bit skinny here. Let's see how we did. Here's our 6.5 inch square, and oh my gosh, we are almost 1/2 inch lost on the edge just from, you know, my poor sewing at some point. So, and you know, this is supposed to be like a perfectly nice 6.5 inch triangle, so we did, or square, so I didn't do great on here. I am going to trim the edge just so it's a little easier to sew. So I'm gonna trim this because we got, like, you know, a big edge sticking out there. We will have to make up for this one. I'm going to wait on all that, though, until we're closer to the quilting stage. We'll just do that all at once. So I'm just making that bottom edge a little cleaner. And this side edge needs some work. There we go. This happened to you on a lot of your blocks? Yeah, and I mean, if I were sewing it all together, if I was quilting it all together, like if I was sewing the whole quilt together and then quilting it all at once, I don't think it would have been as big of a deal. But since I'm doing the quilt as you go process, all these individual ones are pulling versus the whole quilt pulling in. So it adds a little extra shenanigans, I think. All right, so this one is just about the 6.5 inches. Dang, we actually did pretty good on this one, considering all the pieces in it. I'm gonna leave it. I'm not gonna trim. I could like clean up this edge a little bit, but I don't think there's enough to confuse me, so we're gonna leave that one. So again, the edges that I'm most concerned about are the inside ones here. This one looks a little wobbly too. I think this is the direction this one went in. I'm trying to keep these all upright, but if some get upside down, then oh well. This one we didn't do too shabby on either. Maybe a little less, but I'm not going to trim anything there either. And then this feller here. Oh, back-base applique. Oh, I'm going to have to look that up, D. All right, this one's a little shy too, but I'm not going to cut any off. I think we're ready to sew. All right, so I'm going to sew these 3 together. This middle one are 3 pieces. We had that square in the middle. We already did that one on Friday, I believe. So I'm just going to sew these 3 together, then these 3. Then we'll press, and then we'll sew these 3 rows together. And we'll get it out of the way, and then we have one more of these to do after that. So, all right, let's get to the machine. So, you know, that's my normal machine there, the 70s Kenmore, but this is the this is the 30s Kenmore that we've been using lately, and it's actually been really, really fun to play around with. I'm kind of learning it a little bit. So, you know, learning how to thread it. I mean, I have to learn everything about it, really. So, you know, one benefit for having your machine in the shop is, you know, I get to play with this other vintage machine. All right. Oh, we do have some triangles to match up, so some points. So in theory, I want to aim for these points when I sew, so that when the seam allowance is gone, we still have our nice little triangles there. This is such a wobbly block, though. We'll see how we do. So that's why I'm lining up the bottom edge here, because these 2 edges are the edges I want to match up really well on this one. But I'm going to sew with it flipped this way, just so I can see where those kind of lines meet. All right, let's get started. All right, now that I have it started, I'm going to line everything up a little bit better. All right, now I'm kind of aiming for those. I'm trying to keep my 1/4 inch seam allowance still, but trying to err on aiming for those points at the same time. Ooh, this seam allowance, looks like I got pressed in the wrong direction. Sure, there's all sorts of goofy things happening in this one. Ooh. All right, so I'm going to sew, this is the one from the bottom. Here too, it looks like I'm supposed to match up a point right in the middle here. So I think this one I'll also, you know what? I'm gonna do this one from the top, because I want this part to line up. That's gonna just be easier with the white strip on the top. All right, and then kind of right here is where I'm aiming. You've been applicating for 29 years, but back basting from the back has been the last 2 years. Oh, interesting, Robin. So I'll try and look into that before tomorrow. Woo, I'm going through a lot there. I think I actually just lost my thread. Wow, so we went through a big chunk of fabric right there, and the machine did not like that at all. Man, I get talking about learning how to thread the machine, and now I get stuck having to thread it. Okay, so I think I just have to stick it through these last couple parts. So this isn't even a hook. I got to thread it through this little area, this little hole here, and then I can thread it through the needle. So I think the thread broke when it, there we go, when it, oops, geez, now it bounces out right away. Let's get some slack. The thread came out when it hit that really thick part of my block. So I don't know why that is. This thread's from the side, which is kind of unique, at least to, oh, I missed it. In my head, I guess this isn't unique. This is how a lot of old machines are. They thread on the side. I'm just not used to it. Come on. All right. Let's try cleaning up the edge here. Just getting a new cut. All right, I'm gonna get my face right in here. There we go. I just couldn't see. All right, I'm gonna start back here. We'll just see how this goes. All right, here's that really thick part again. All right, that time it just went right over. Well, don't know what happened there. All right, let's sew the other block on the top. Let's check out how our points were. Oh, that looks great. So this is where, you know, we wanted to keep those triangle points. Oh gosh, but look how much I clipped this one. That one wasn't good. That's the one where I pressed the wrong direction and there was a lot going on there. Oh no, actually this one was. Oh, I was just way off. Look how far off I was from where that crosses. Well, so I clipped that point. Oh well. So this one too, it looks like I have a lot of points here that I need to get to. So I'm gonna put that one on top. And we will sew that up as well. Gosh, actually I might sew it on the bottom just because there's a lot going on there. And I do want to make sure to get those points there. All right, let's get this. We'll just see how we do with the 1/4 inch seam allowance. Wow, I can feel I'm going through a lot of fabric there too. These pieces, these ones in particular, these blocks have a lot happening in them. All right, here's that Estelle block. Let's get that guy. All right, this one I am going to, what do we have to aim for here? Oh, just this point in the middle here. All right. That one's going on top. Just, I'm mostly concerned about having these edges line up. There we go. Oh, wow. I did not have this edge lined up well. I don't want to accidentally sew the other side in. Right, there's that middle point. Let's see how we do. This block is going to be crazy quilting. There's just so many small pieces, and we just, I don't know, I did not do a perfect job sewing all these, so we'll just see what happens here. All right, it is time to press. Let's head over here. Let's peek at how we did here, though. All right, here are these other bits. Okay, that point looks really, really good. And that one's not too bad either. So, all right, I feel good about that. So that's our top. And then our bottom piece here. So this is Stell block, stretched quite a bit. I think that'll be fine. But this point, we did pretty good there. Actually, this point's not that bad either. So, all right, I'm okay with that. We're gonna press the seam allowance towards the inside. It's naturally gonna wanna go there because there's so much happening in these blocks to push it towards the inside. That'll, in theory, help us match up these seams in a sec here. All right. You know, one thing to make these more perfect is if I would check after sewing like every single unit, like every single half square triangle, every time I sew anything together, to remeasure and check and trim or like unpick and then redo. But I just didn't do that with a whole lot of these. So if you do it a couple times, that can help. Help you end up with one perfect eventually. All right, I'm gonna clip these together. So again, I'm have the seam allowance going opposite directions. That should help me match, get the seams to line up perfectly. So I'm just like I'm really actually pushing them together so I can feel those folds butt up against each other. Oop, and I put this guy on upside down. There we go. All right, and we do have some points to watch, so I'm gonna watch this one and this one, and then this guy here, that point, and this one. I am gonna sew with, oh gosh, look at how far I'm off on there. Maybe I will sew with I was gonna sew with the blocks on the bottom, but gosh, this one is so far off. But I think I'm gonna still do it. We're gonna do it like this. Giving it a try. Man, this one's really turning out a little more difficult than I thought it was gonna be, but it is. It's just because I have those funny sizes, and it's gonna turn out how it's gonna turn out in the end. And you know what? Once we quilt it, that's gonna correct a whole lot of problems, I think, too. All right, I'm gonna move that guy. All right, now gosh, this is so far off, this one. Well, that's how it's gonna be, I suppose. I can kind of see those points through the fabric, so I'm aiming towards those. But wow, we have like a full ½ inch there, just about. All right, I'm gonna get another leader up here. They're getting stuck together. Throw that there. All right. Okay, oops. Let's get that bottom one on, and then we'll press this. Oop, this guy's done. See how we did on those. Oh, that point matched up pretty good. This one is a hair off, but oh well. Not too shabby on those points. And this one I clipped maybe a hair. I wasn't paying as close attention on these ones. This one too, I clipped it about the same amount. But I think from far away you won't be able to tell. All right, I'm gonna flip this around and we'll match up these middle pieces again so that those seams butt up against each other. This guy too. All right, and we have this point to think about, and then one here as well. We're just gonna kind of wing it. Get this guy done. I want to move on. There's too many wiggles and squiggles and stuff with this guy. I am putting the bigger piece on the bottom, which will kind of stretch the top a little bit. Hopefully it all ends up good. Well, Arlo says, I like the fact that you don't sweat the small stuff. Well, in this case, I don't know what good it would do. I would either redo it or not, and, you know, I gotta live with my decision either way. So, I'm deciding it doesn't have to be perfect, because the need for perfection is not outweighing the time and like I have to make it all over again. Like that feeling of having to make it over again, the not wanting to make it again is winning over the perfection. That's kind of what's happening here. All right, I got half of one going here. I mean, we could keep making them over and over and over until we're done, but you know, I'm just trying to learn what I can along the way. There's so many blocks in this sampler that I feel like, okay, this one has a lot of little pieces and half square triangles. I'm sure I will come across another one that has a lot of squares, small squares, and half square triangles. So with that next one, I'll try and take what I learn with this one. Like maybe I'll pay more close attention to my seam allowance, or measuring each segment when I'm done. I'll just have to, you know, I'm just trying to learn from before. I figured I'd just do it that way. All right, let's see what we got here, and then we will press it, and then we just have to do the 4 last ones. Oh, I was kind of a little off on this middle one too. I think this just looks like, gosh, it's just a little off, but oh well. So this one is a whole pile of wobbly, a whole pile of crazy. We'll even have to add probably a whole nother piece of sashing here to kind of fix it. But you know what? In the final quilt, we're not even going to look at that at all. Especially when there's like a cute little elephant and, you know, there's an ice cream cone coming up. Your eye's going to go to those things instead of the tiny details of this little sashing piece, I think. And you know what? The most that's going to happen with this quilt is someone will use it while they stay over at our house, and it'll keep them warm. They are not going to be picking it apart. So I don't think I have much to worry about. Crazy though, look how far I clipped this one though. That is quite the corner clip, man. Oh well, this one was good. That one was right on point there, but whew, wow. But there we go. One more done. I'm satisfied. I'll put that one to the side for now. I'll show you guys it again later, but let's get this last one sewn. So this one we got this crazy guy. This one I know for sure that it ended up a little bit shorter than we needed. This one is one of the nice ones that is bigger. We cut it bigger to do the embroidery, so we will trim off the edges here, the inside edges. So this one is good. This one will have a little extra when we quilt it, and same with this guy here, the cute little ice cream cone. And and then we have this sweet little heart. This is a very pictorial block here. Oh, and it looks like we don't have any more of the middle guys either. So let's just grab one of those. That one's kind of pretty. It's got like part of a rose in. And grab our sashing pieces. So this one we did not sew that one yet. So I'm going to get all the pieces out, and then we will measure and trim these guys up. I've been watching the Waltons and noticing all the quilts. Oh, that's so funny. I love seeing quilts in TV shows and stuff. I always notice them now. Someone had to pick that out special for that show, you know? Active thought went in all of those things. All right, let's press all these. We'll start with this guy. Oh, I think I've turned my iron off here. You'll be happy to know I did iron iron my shirt today. So I mentioned that I set up one of my antique ironing boards and got a few more wool pressing mats. I set it up by our closet, and I'm like, I'm gonna press my clothing at the beginning of the day. So I'm trying to. Today was day one, but I did actually press it the night before. Let's see how long that lasts, but I like the idea of it. I probably don't need to do it with everything, but there are some every once in a while that I'm like, dang, I can't believe I wore that with it so wrinkly. These ones without the embroidery, I'm flipping it over so I don't totally squish the embroidery or accidentally snag something. I think it's easier pressing from the back. Okay, and this guy too, just because it's got all this applique. So this was appliqued with that craft text paper. Once we wash it, it should kind of look and feel like leather. This will be interesting to see how it sews through because it's some pretty hefty stuff, and we got several layers of it. So we'll see how that functions. I'm gonna try and stretch this a little bit, pull on it a little. Oop, geez, that was dumb. I'll just go this one direction where the seam allowances are pointed. All right. I remember this one being a little small, but let's check everything else out here. This one looks pretty good as is. Ooh, that is a nicely measured thing. If I remember right, I think this was foundation paper piecing. So foundation paper piecing, those should all be just perfect. Well, this one's foundation paper piecing, but I think we, on purpose, added a little bit of edge to it. Okay, so let's kind of center, oh yeah, we got lots of edge. Let's center this ice cream cone. There, I got about a little more than a ½ inch on the top and bottom. And about 2 inches on the side. Okay, I think we're good right there. So I need to get rid of these two bottom pieces there. Actually, I'm going to err on the side of that strawberry being a little up higher. Okay, right there. And since it's in the upper right-hand corner here, we're going to trim these inside bits. So I'm going to just rotate this. All right. Oh, of course I moved a little bit, but I think, ugh. Let's get it all square again. There we go. But we'll have a little extra edge on these to help us when we do the quilting, so I'm excited about that. All right, get rid of this excess. Okay, cute. Cute, cute, cute. This one too. Now this one, the top and the side here, those are the most inside pieces, so that's what we're going to trim on this one. So let's center this again. This one's awfully sweet as well. All right, got about a ½ inch, a little more than ½ inch all the way around it looks like. So okay, about right there. And we'll get those two sides. Angle this a bit. Oh gosh, I just got nervous there. I probably shouldn't be cutting on top. Oh gosh, I'm gonna jinx it now. Oh, I hope not. But I probably shouldn't be laying this on top of all my blocks because if I just shimmy off, I could just totally cut any of these, and oh god, what a nightmare that would be. So this is maybe not smart how I'm doing this. Maybe I'll cut down here for the next one. Actually, the next one I don't think we need to trim at all. So, I should have thought about that a bit sooner, but oh well. Okay, yeah, this one quite a bit off. So in the end, we'll probably add a little white strip down here We'll see how it goes. All right, let's do this. Okay, I'm gonna sew these three, and these three, and then, well, we'll actually do these two first. We'll do it by column, then these two, and then I'll jump back up and then sew this one, then this one, then this one. Then we'll press, and then sew the 3 rows together. We should be able to do all that tonight yet, I would think. All right. Exactly, Robin. We won't even remember like any of the parts that we weren't happy with for this. And you know what? I sometimes like those things in a quilt. The mistakes and all that, because it shows learning. You know, I mean, like all these quilts to me are just exercises really in trying to get better at a skill or learning a new technique, and it's a record of that, you know? It's like a diary of it. So I think there's value in not redoing it and seeing what you had trouble with and what you needed to learn. I mean, there's something for good craft and having it be perfect and all that too, but I don't know. I kind of like seeing the learning behind it, or the struggle. Or just personally like, oh yeah, that's the quilt where I learned how to do this thing, or that's the quilt that I tried to use metallic floss on, and or you know, just it's a record of my experiments, right? And I think that's kind of fun. All right, let's grab from the top here. There wasn't anything, actually there's nothing we have to match up on any of these. That's nice, that's making it easy, like no points to match up. Making it real easy. All right. Just kind of getting it started and before lining everything up. All right, next one off is our little sashing piece here. I'm going to lose this cute little green leaf in the seam allowance, so that's too bad. All right, and our bottom piece here. Oh yeah, this is the horse. So the horse, I'm going to try and tug on it a little bit. Gosh, it's heavy. There's so many pieces. There's so much fabric in this horse one. Just like all the seam allowances. I mean, look at the back. It's just crazy. It is hefty. Oh, see, now it's the length of, man, I don't know. It's the length of the strip now, and the strip is exactly that 6.5 inches. So actually, the sewing of this might make this work a little bit better. We might get our 6.5 inches out of this block. Yeah, we are. That's great. Whew, that's a lot of fabric. Okay, let's get a leader on here. We will press these and finish it up. This is it. I'm out of blocks at this point. So any new block that we do, hey Sylvia, any new block that we do will be totally totally part of a new segment. We'll have to start a new pile. That'll be kind of fun. All right. Ugh, those two are so cute. All right, and then here's our middle and our bottom. Oh, it did stretch a little bit. So funny, because there's nothing on this. This is just a piece of fabric, and this is like 80 pieces of fabric that we're dealing with. So those are kind of two funny ones to put next to each other. All right, I'm going to press that seam towards the center. We'll do it on both sides, and then I'll do the front. So cute. I like these two. This is one of the first blocks we did, I think, if I remember right. Finally getting into a piece. All right, this one I'm going to press the seams towards the outside, the opposite. If I can get in there. There we go. I just love my little strawberry on that one. So cute. Okay. And then towards the inside again. See, look, there's so much fabric here that I don't even have to iron this. It just wants to be on the inside. It can't go anywhere else. This one, on the other hand, could go either way. We are going to put it on the inside. We'll still get this side too. All right, flip it around. So much fabric. So that makes me think that it'll stretch in this direction too, which I want to be careful about, I think. Oh God, it is so heavy. All right, same deal here. We are going to just, we'll do the top just because I'm used to doing it that way. We'll flip it around, match these seams, and then we will do this bottom. Ah, just so pretty. That horsey, I'm pretty excited about him. Okay, let's clip those together. I think I'm gonna sew with the blocks on the bottom. Oh, come back here. Tricky little buggers keep jumping out of my hands. All right, to the machine. All right, let's line up this edge. So there is that extra that we left here, so if it goes over the edge a little bit, that's fine. All right, first bit, second bit. Let's line up again. Trying to get these edges to match though. So the big's on the bottom. All right, get a leader in there. All right, let's line up that horsey and the sew block. How do we do? I get the one, but then the other isn't always lined up as nice as it could be. All right. This one I'm going to sew with the blocks on the bottom again as well. Especially because I suspect this horse is going to want to stretch out a bit and be a little bit bigger than the top. So I want the big on the bottom. And I got to remember that this sew one has a little extra on the end, so it can hang over a bit. And I actually did not match this up very well. I'm going to tug on the piece underneath. There we go. Now we're lined up. Ooh, gosh, look at this. All right. Lining up the ends here. I'm just going to hold that with my finger, and I'm going to try and get these to line up along the way. I'm kind of stretching a little bit. I'm letting the bottom, I'm letting the feed dogs pull on the bottom while I hold the top in place. So then I'll end up at the same spot here, and it seems like it's working great. All right, let's get a leader, and that is that. We will press this, and whew, we got another step of the process done. We got all those blocks sewn together. That feels good. Now I can feel like I can put them out of the way again, and, and it'll be good. All right, let's press. Let's peek at it and then press. All right. Oh, see, now those are some good matching seams where the seam goes right up into the next one. And actually that horse is looking great. It doesn't look as, it is just so stretchy because there's so much fabric, but it's going to end up being like the exact size we need it. So I'm pretty proud about that. That's a whole lot of pieces to get just right. All right, let's press. Oh, I'm going to press towards the inside again. Flip that around, and then we'll get get it from the front. I don't think I got all the way over here either. It's kind of off my mat a little bit. All right, let's flip. We'll get the one side, and then I'll move over to that other side. I really like these four together. And the funny thing is, I would have never put these four together because like my brain would be going like, oh, that's too many. That are like all pictorial. Like they all are like a little picture versus, oh, I should put, one of the ones that just looks pieced, like one of the more graphic-y ones in here. I wouldn't have picked these for my quilt. But since we did it all random, I closed my eyes and I just picked. We got to have these four together, and I never would have done that before. I never would have done that. So I'm stoked. I really like that one. And then here is the other one for the night, which is the exact opposite. I would have never put four so graphic together, but I think they're gonna be awfully pretty. I don't know if I'll put them together like this, but just because there's a lot of pink here and there's a lot of pink here, so we'll probably shimmy them around a little bit. But there we go. So ultimately, between yesterday and today, we got 4 more sets done, which is crazy. So here are the 2 from last night. Oh, look at that sunshine. That's awfully sweet. So yeah, so we are coming along here for sure. So wow, this is a lot to quilt. I mean, this is like a baby quilt right here, really. All right, you guys, I'm going to flip you around and we'll call it an evening here. All right, you guys, so let me show you them again. Let me get back a little bit further here. A little bit farther. All right, so here is the first one we did tonight. This one is definitely, this has got such light colors in, so you're gonna have to look close at the quilt to see the subtleties in this one, I think. This one is pretty, you get right away, but these other ones blend together quite a bit. You gotta look up close. And then this is the other one from, another one from tonight. Little horsey, so cute. I really like this one, this set of 4. Ooh, we're gonna have to come up with a fun way to quilt this too. All right, you guys. I think that is that for the evening. Tomorrow we will get started on that octopus block. So we are done with these for a while again until we rack up a ton more blocks. And then, yeah, and then we'll make some more and start quilting. So yeah, so octopus block tomorrow, and then you'll have to pick another block for me. So we'll page through them again tomorrow, or if there's any block that you guys are thinking about. Oh, we're not going to finish this all in one day, I suppose, but next week I'm sure we'll start a new block again. So if there's one itching at you or one that you had a question on, just remember it and let me know. We'll do that one next after the octopus one. So thanks again, you guys. I'll get this up on Penguin and Fish Movies, and I'll be here again tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central. See you later. Good night.